Are you trying to get your shift together?
Welcome to the Shift Sisters podcast, where real conversations inspire real transformations. We're not experts, but we're experiencers. I'm Sandra Sa.
And I'm Jennifer Richter.
We're your Shift Sisters.
Whether you're shifting like a sloth or it looks like you're having an exorcism, this is your space to breathe, reflect, and remember. We're here to talk shift with you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming back, Shifties. We are really excited to get back into our topic in our Protect Your Peace series. Jen, every time I hear or I see the Protect Your Peace series, I want to say protect your neck. And that's like
What?
the hood coming out of me.
It's what coming out of you?
The hood, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking like doing like this, so maybe we're kind of on the same lines because when you say protect your peace, I'm all like, get
Yes,
away.
absolutely. Well, we have been diving into our energy and tracking our energy and really looking at our energy accounts and budgeting our energy, which I think is such a strong, it's something that I didn't realize that I needed to do because your energy is not infinite. You have a certain amount of energy that you can give, and you also have to replenish that energy just like you would with your bank accounts, and making sure that you always are you're not in the red. So today's episode is called Energy Millionaire Moves. So from burnt out to banked up. So girl, we're going to get ourselves banked up, and I need some of that right now. So that is where we are. Now, before we get started and dive into our topic, we always like to start off with our rituals, which gives us an opportunity to get grounded before we get started in our chat. So, shift forecast, our emotional vibe. And I'm going to get started because, girl, talk about energy reserves, and all of that. My energy is cloudy, but keeping it together. So I'm in this kind of space of, I have the clouds, but I can also like see the sun. I'm not in this like space of that I'm totally blanketed and I just want to patch through and get to the sun. So even though my energy can be a little bit heavy, or I'm feeling a little heavy this week, I'm also like, I'm here for it and my soul is here for it. And just trying to navigate those two areas, right? And like, figure out how to be in that space of, because you need rain, right? Everyone needs rain. So
You do. You know
you
what I
having,
keep seeing around you though, like energetically as an example, because I get visions as like what the energy is representing. And imagine if you had to go to your childhood home and it was full, completely full of every memory, every item, everything, and you all by yourself walked into it. First of all, that's a trigger, right? An
yeah,
overwhelming thing. But then you all by yourself had to clean out every single item and get it
oh
out
my,
of there and make that house bare. Bare.
that is,
Like you know the benefit, you see the purpose, you can see all the steps in between, but the feelings, the triggers, and the overwhelm all at the same time, like you're in this battle of like, do I let this wave take me over or do I
yeah,
push through it? And you're just almost like analysis paralysis and you're just frozen.
yeah, yeah. That is such a great visual of how I
Mm.
feel, because that is, it's is this heavying like feeling, and I am motivated to like get it cleaned out. I just don't know where to start. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I should start in the living room. I don't know if I need more reinforcements. I need someone to help me. Do I need a hazmat suit? Like that
You're right.
is
Mm-hmm.
right. Like, so I'm in this space of like, okay, that there it is. There are all the things. There are all the memories. There are all the pieces that need to be cleaned. But
Mm-hmm.
am I equipped to handle that big task?
Yeah, because then you ask yourself too, you're like, do I even want to do this? Right? Like, can I
Yeah.
just shut the door and never look at it again? Can I just pay someone to do it? Can I just burn that shit down? Like, you
Girl.
ask yourself all of these things, and you're literally standing there in an emotional analysis mode, and it
Yeah.
will freeze you up.
I love it. And now, girl, now that you gave me that visual, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down today in the kitchen. I'm gonna like and you know the visualization of it and see
Hmm.
what's coming up and what's happening because I think that's another thing too. Like I am check the things off the list type of person, and I like
Hmm.
things done. Like okay, we're
Yes.
done. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. And
Hmm.
it's like this is the way you described it. It's just way too big for that. It's way too
So
big for.
if I can make a recommendation when
Yeah.
you are sitting with it, because I also see how they're showing me that you should break it down, is when you're sitting down and maybe you do an automatic writing or typing or whatever, just close your eyes and ask yourself, like, you're in the first room. You come through the front door and you're in the first room. So close your eyes and literally just look around. Don't
Mhm.
do anything.
Yeah.
Just look around and observe. And then maybe write down your five, four, three, two, one. Remember
Yeah.
your somatic practice?
Mhm.
And just write it down of what you feel in that room, and then take a breath, and in your mind walk to the next room. And I would do the five, four, three, two, one in each room, and just document it, and that's it. Don't do anything else for the rest of the day, and then just sit with it and see, maybe some clarity will come from those steps. I'm not sure, but that's my
Yeah.
message that I'm sharing with you that
Oh,
came through me.
I receive it with open arms because I don't know where to start, and this
Hmm.
sounds like I when I have a plan or I know like how I'm going to attack something,
Hmm.
project big or small,
Yeah.
I feel like 10 times better. And right now I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, that's a great place to start. So thank you for that.
You're
I
so welcome.
love when the messages come through and they just hit home. So
Yeah.
did you want to check in on how you're feeling today? It doesn't have to be a forecast. It could be any.
Yeah, I am feeling, I'm going to look. I like my spin tracker that I've been working off of because I'm trying to perfect it before we, fully put it out there. But, on some of these things, I really like this one. It said it was a number 7. It was productive and positive, clear mind, balanced heart. I feel capable and an emotionally even keeled. And there is a lot going on around me right now. Like, we have guests in our Airbnb and they have kiddos, and my daughter has just blended with them beautifully. So it's like one big family. Because I'm so resistant into actually going out in the world, the universe brought the community to me, because it's like, oh, we're going to put this community on your property, so you can't deny it, because this is what you asked for. But
Mhm.
like, they have a big water slide blown up back there. They're out there screaming. One of the boys in the family is helping Adam, and he's out there mowing and weed eating. But even though it's a lot of chaos, our internet was broken this morning from some workers outside, and my studio location's changed, and I'm trying to adjust to the new environment. But I'm also like, I'm so glad that I have an environment that is sunny that I can change to. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that my child has someone that is filling her in the way she needs as a child, and that I
Mm.
hear the laughters and the screams of joy and
Yeah.
playfulness, and that my husband is getting the support for our property management that he needs. And so, even though it's a lot, I think I just have more gratefulness than overwhelmed today. And maybe it's because I'm drinking my Tulsi lavender tea. I don't
Oh.
know. It is literally like the closest thing to like cannabis that I can get to help me calm, because Tulsi tea is amazing. Adaptogenic. I'm learning about these things. I didn't even know what they were, but I
Sure.
added a little bit of lavender syrup to it to sweeten it. And I had lavender sea salt, which is made with that French gray sea salt, which gives you the minerals you need. And so I just sprinkled a little bit of that in here. And maybe that's helped me to feel the calm and more of the gratefulness. I'm not sure, but I'm happy. And I would much prefer this space than some of the other spaces I've been in.
Oh my gosh, I love that. My heart is like bursting for you. And
No,
we're going to
thanks.
talk today about gratitude and how
Mm-hmm.
that really does fill your energy reserves and your energy
Mm,
accounts. So I'm so glad you're in that space. It's so funny how we complement each other. Sometimes we are just like spot on with how
mm-hmm.
we're doing or what's we're feeling. And then in instances like this, we're like the total opposite of one another in our energy. But I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling, the impact of how light your energy is and how sunny your energy is, and now I'm feeling that, and it's this like cycle of giving and receiving. So it's just always blows my
And
mind about
and
that.
and I think that boils down to that's how you can support other people,
Yes.
by genuinely taking care of yourself. Something that
Hmm.
I have had to really um help educate Adam with a lot, because I'm like, if you can just take care of some of your things to make sure that your foundation to protect your peace is strong, then when I'm not so strong, you're able to be that navigational beacon for me, because you've been doing your things to keep yourself stable. And the same thing goes for me. I can be, more of a navigational beacon for other people if I do these rituals and things to
Yes,
protect my peace. So I'm working on it. It's not something that I have mastered, but I am definitely seeing the benefits, and it's been easy to implement, and I am motivated to keep doing it.
that's awesome. And your work benefits me
Mm-hmm.
because you're my soul sister, you're my close friend, and I think
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I'm learning too is that, and I, we preach it, we talk about it on the podcast, but now I'm actually fully like living in that mode of living in
Mm-hmm.
community. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to rely on myself
Mm-hmm.
always and have that. And I have my husband, and now it's like, well, I can be vulnerable now. I can,
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer is going to take it with, loving arms and really respect the feelings and help me with that. And now it's just like, oh my goodness, this is what it feels like. That's amazing.
That's how I felt with you when you were sending me all of this friends anniversary stuff, and like, I don't even know how to put it in words. It's a
Yeah,
love I've never felt before. So I'm
yeah,
happy that you are feeling loved as well, because that's definitely the intention.
absolutely.
I was going to share, I know that, often I pair an oil
Yes.
for emotional purposes with a mood. But as I was going through my book, because I do have an app, but I have a book as well too that I like to use. This is the old school one that I actually got like 13 years ago, that started me on this whole journey of essential oils and emotions. But as I was flipping through it, there was just something that so strongly stood out to me about this oil. So I'm going to read it to you. And I don't think you have it in your mini oil kit, but it's black pepper, right?
Mm.
So it's not something that you would normally think about, like, ooh, I want to diffuse black pepper. It's something that you might put in, like, to make a cologne or something, right? Or
Yeah.
to use in your culinary stuff. But it actually is amazing for physical pain as well too. So like during labor, I had made a roller ball of it and had it rubbed up and down my spine to help with back cramps.
Yeah.
So think about this too for your legs, right? For
Yes.
pain. But the oil of unmasking is black pepper. Black pepper reveals the mask and facades used to hide aspects of the self. Since childhood, most individuals have been taught that some feelings and behaviors are good while others are not. So instead of seeking to understand seemingly inappropriate feelings or behaviors, they usually judge, condemn, and repress them. Individuals learn early on that to be loved and accepted, they must hide undesirable aspects of themselves behind a mask or facade. Black pepper invites individuals to get real by digging deep within the less understood parts of the self. Whether one's true motives and feelings are acknowledged or not, they continue to exist. The more the feelings are pushed down, buried, and repressed, the more they seek to make themselves known. If they are not honestly dealt with and acknowledged, they will often be expressed through erratic, compulsive, or addictive behaviors. Black pepper also reignites the soul fire, fueling motivation, high energy, and hastening the healing process. It gives an individual strength to overcome the challenges and issues they carry inside, and invites them to live with integrity with the self. Emotions addressed: emotional dishonesty, repressed emotions, feeling trapped, prideful, or superficial. What does hastening mean? I don't know that one. To like
Making
lessen or
things
dampen?
to make things happen quicker.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that one. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
Girl, that is like I'm gonna like take a bath in and black pepper oil. It feels very appropriate to a lot of the things that I am just processing at this time.
Hmm.
And even before this call, I was sharing with you, Jen, like just trying to figure out my place and figuring things out. And so the whole idea of like the unmasking is
Hmm.
so appropriate for what I'm feeling right now, and saying to myself, is this true? Or is it something that's superficial? Is this
Hmm.
something that I need? How do I express myself? All of those things. So
Yep.
I love that that is the oil that jumped out to you today.
It really did. So, well, I hope that black pepper oil and its emotional benefits help you, and that your somatic practices walking through your childhood home help you. And if you have or need any more assistance, I'll see what I can tap into.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're drinking the tea that you had mentioned, and it's
Yep.
funny. I wanted to go on the same, like, I don't know, like just health and hydration and things. So I made a watermelon electrolyte.
Mm,
So it's blended up watermelon. I use Celtic. What I have, what I'm trying to finish up, is my Celtic sea salt. So I put
yeah.
some of that lemon, but I also put a scoop of unflavored protein powder, because I'm always trying to find ways
Is it
to
collagen or is it protein powder?
protein powder. It's unflavored protein powder,
You'll
like
have to
way.
send me a link to that because Ashton's been looking all over for an unflavored one and we couldn't find it. So send me a link later.
Absolutely. And you put it in anything, and I don't know if you could see it with, but it's like milky, creamy.
Yeah,
So it's, I'm trying to find ways to get protein in. This is one of my hacks,
I love it.
and I love just being able to like figure out fun ways to get all the things that I need. So that is
Ditto.
what's in my cup today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, girl, let's talk some shift.
Let's do
Let's
it.
talk about energy. So before we talk about budgeting and becoming energetic millionaires, I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about what are the different categories of energy, because with the energy tracker that you had put together, I was tracking myself and realizing, girl, I can't, there's just so many things that are pulling my energy, right? And
Mm.
some of it is emotional, and some of it is mental, and some of it is physical. And I wanted to just do a breakdown of, what's in our accounts right now. What do we all have in our accounts? So what I'm going to do is just briefly name the energy and talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
So the first one is physical energy, as anyone would think. So the body's ability to perform physical activities, maintain strength, and sustain movement. So it involves muscle power, stamina, and overall physical health. So what does that feel like? It's feeling energized and able to complete a workout or run errands. It's recovering quickly from physical fatigue after a long day, or having the stamina to engage in outdoor activities like hiking or sports. Now, this last couple of weeks, I've just been battling something, some sort of virus. I'm just not well. I cannot tell you how much of an energy drain it is on all other factors. So, because physically I am not well, I have, mental, energy drains.
Mhm.
I'm feeling even more emotional. Like something
Mhm.
about being sick. I don't know if you have a perspective on it.
Oh, yes.
Something about being sick makes everything come up for me. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, your body is sending all its troops to
Yeah.
fight for you in your immune system.
Hmm.
And when you feel defensive, you're protecting. So you're protecting every part of you, not just your immune system. Your body doesn't know the difference, it's in protection mode. And so everything might feel a little bit more of an attack,
Yeah.
right? Because right now your body's saying, no, we all have to fight. And so I think that's what makes us a little more emotional and sensitive while we're not feeling well.
Absolutely. And it's just like, um, You're just on this roller coaster. So it's like physical energy and emotional energy are affected.
Mm-hmm.
So the next category, just segueing into emotional energy. So that's the capacity to experience, manage, and express emotions. It influences mood, resilience, and the ability to cope with stress and emotional challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling optimistic. So some of the things associated with emotional energy is feeling optimistic and motivated after positive interactions, bouncing back quickly from feeling upset or stressed, or having the emotional resilience to handle challenging conversations. So, emotional energy, the things that I just mentioned are some of the positives with that. But of course, there are areas where it's just, if you're battling depression, if you are sparked and you have anxiety or some of those things, those can overtake your energy, not only emotionally, but physically as well. There's physical symptoms with depression, there's physical symptoms with anxiety. So, a lot of that,
Because, and you know why? Because if we
tell me.
don't deal with our emotions, they show up physically,
Yes.
right? It's in that body keeps the score, the body speaks the mind concept that we're going to end up talking about in January. But like, remember
Mhm.
what Adam was saying too about the anxiety and the depression on the grounded guys? Did you remember that one?
Remind me what he said.
So your thoughts are, if they're in the past, it's depression. And if it's too much
Oh,
in the
yes.
future, it's anxiety.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely. So the being in the present is the
Mm-hmm.
key with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So next is mental energy. So mental energy and emotional energy are two different things, and we don't want to confuse the two. So focus, concentration, cognitive resources, and the ability to problem solve, decision make, and it's essential for mental clarity and learning. So um, this is, for me, it's heavy with my work, right? So my career includes a lot of decision making and creative problem solving. So I need to have enough in my account, in my emotional account, I'm sorry, my mental
Mental.
energy account, in order to do
Mm-hmm.
that. So some of the things that happen around mental energy is concentrating deeply on a project or problem, maintaining focus during a long work or study session, and feeling mentally alert and clear headed throughout the day. Now, I often wonder, when you're looking at social media, TikToks and all the things that people do, how what impact it has on your mental energy, right? Because you're looking at like 5-second reels over and over and over. You don't, sit down with something and think about things. How about like critical thinking processes? Like, is some of that being depleted? And I'm not trying to get on a soapbox and say like all of this is wrong, but thinking about how much you're consuming and what the output is.
And see, I have a different take on the mental energy thing. For me, it doesn't connect to social media, it connects to managing a household. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so like your husband might ask you a question that if he stopped and asked himself the same thing for a moment and used some critical thinking and deductive reasoning, there's a high likelihood he might be able to figure it out. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And the mental load that a spouse can accidentally and unintentionally put on you when they could just think it through themselves and find the dang answer is enormous.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of you and my complaint about that. And that was part of me requesting that Adam take care of himself in the sense of like, can you not ask yourself the same question and walk through it? And if you absolutely can't get the answer, then you can come to me. Because it's about silly little things.
Sure.
But if you're coming at me with 10 of them in 15 minutes, dear Lord, how can I get through the day? But then
Right.
you think about that also then starts spreading out to your children. And
Yeah.
so I had to go, okay, well, I can't blow up all the time. And I definitely can't carry all of this for everyone because you sent me this Instagram page of a gentleman who actually does public education about this to help men learn how to be more mentally responsible so they don't put all that on their wives, which Adam follows regularly now and has helped a
Mhm.
ton. But it helps me to also say, instead of blowing up, even though I don't want to and I just want to punch someone in the face, can I slow down for a minute and ask them the questions to walk them through getting the answer on their own so that they can have the experience of knowing, wait, I can walk through these questions on my own and get the answer, and I don't always need to go to mom, or I don't always need to go to my wife. And I love that I'm the go to for a lot of people. That's so awesome and sweet. I'm so glad you thought of me. But my job as a mom and wife is to empower you
Yeah.
guys. So I'm working on that. But honestly, the thing that has helped the most is the Instagram page you sent me, and
Mm.
Adam follows it and gets a lot of like eye-opening situations with that.
Yeah, it's incredible how until we started deep diving into the series, I didn't realize, first of all, how precious our energy is
Mm,
and in all of these different categories, how they cross pollinate, I guess, from one
mm-hmm,
category to another. And then certain things like the mental energy, mental load, what that looks like, how
mm-hmm.
that's manifested in relationships. So now I'm really so careful about looking at things in a different way. It's just like, I gave you an example before we got on this call. I said, Jennifer, I have 5 units of emotional energy, or I have 5 units of energy. Am I going to do that? And
Mm-hmm.
where am I going to put that energy? Am I going to
Mm-hmm.
invest it in my emotional account? Am I going to invest it in my mental account because I need to get a work project done, or
Yep.
or emotionally, I need to sit with all the crap that's bubbling up in me? So
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting how you can take all of these accounts, like you would your banking account, your checking, your savings, your CDs, all of that, take a little bit here, take a little bit there, and really build and diversify your portfolio. And that is what I'm hoping that we can really accomplish today, is just building that portfolio so that you can take on your week and your day, and then you can always be in the green, right? Like, there's so much that takes from us. And then in this episode, I want to talk about, how do we feel again? How do we
Mm-hmm.
how do we get that capital back into our accounts?
What keeps popping into my head is, you know how I'm sure everybody's heard the term at some point called vote with your dollars. And so,
Yes.
if there was something that if you wanted to boycott a company because you didn't believe in what they were doing or whatever the situation is, they always say vote with your dollars, right? And
Mhm.
I keep hearing that right now, which tells me you have to vote, right, for what you want and boycott what you want by where you choose to spend your
Yes.
physical, emotional, and
Yes.
mental finances, in a sense, or
Absolutely.
budget,
Absolutely.
whatever you want to call it.
And I just feel like, maybe some of the heaviness that I said earlier in my check-in is just a mismatch of my energy to what needs to be spent on right now.
Yeah, you're like
Right.
spending at the dollar store expecting Gucci, girl. What you talking about?
Girl, no two for ones over here. I gotta really invest well and do all of that. But yes, I love that. Yeah. No more dollar store for me, my friend. So let's go on to our next category. Our next category is spiritual energy. So the
Ooh.
sense of purpose, inner peace, and connectedness to something greater than oneself. It often involves beliefs, values, and a sense of fulfillment. Uh, so some of the things that manifest with spiritual energy is experiencing a sense of peace during prayer or meditation, feeling connected to a higher purpose or life mission, and then gaining inspiration from nature or spiritual teachings. So it's interesting, as I was doing my research for this episode, I don't tend to think about spiritual energy in that sense. I don't equate it to the physical energy and the emotional energy.
Hmm.
But uh, when I sit back and I think about the influences in my life, the things that have gone well, I've always shared that I feel like I am so loved from the other side, that
Mm-hmm.
I have this like spiritual net. You know how, like,
Mm-hmm.
trapeze artists, they have that like safety net.
Safety net.
I always have that net. Like, I will always be carried. And I didn't put much thought into this. And now I'm saying to myself, wow, I need to put back into that. And I know certain things that I do supports that. So, the meditations and the journaling and things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think about it in that category. Is that something that's like, how do you feel about spiritual energy in its own category?
Kind of like, you know how you were talking about the cross pollination of how like they blend a little bit. I feel like for me, this spiritual energy blends with the mental for me in the sense
Mhm.
of it's what soothes me, my mental overload, because I can rack my brain all day long trying to analyze, make checklists, or figure things out, or I could just go be in the garden or in the kitchen or do laundry or whatever it is. And I can kind of bring that spiritual energy into washing the dishes or the laundry. And I feel like all of the things that my brain would be working on kind of gets worked out in that spiritual space for me. So it's like having AI, right? Like people use AI all the time to get
Sure.
a really quick answer so that they don't have to figure it out. But for me, that spiritual energy takes everything that I've inputted in it, right? It already knows all the things I'm trying to figure out and what my goals and intentions are. And I just go and do my laundry or the dishes or the gardening and just be with it. And then all of a sudden, all of these solutions type of things just pop into my knowing
Yeah.
because I was just kind of letting the spiritual energy work it out for me. So I need that
Mm,
assistance. Otherwise, I would be so stressed out all the time.
yeah. Yeah. And you have such a strong connection to it. So it's, I often look at you and things that you say and do, and I'm like, wow, however it was manifested for you, I
Mm-hmm.
say to myself, if I could tap into my own
Mm.
source in that very clear way that you do, right?
Hmm.
It's just so clear with you. And and I think everyone has a pathway to it, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe we're just super distracted, or we're not seeing it, or we're not listening to the messages, right? And so this spiritual energy piece, I'm excited about it almost, because I say to myself, there are things that I do to support it. And now that I know that it's a category for me, I need to also invest back into it and
Mm-hmm.
see if there's other ways that I can connect with it a little more.
Yeah, I'm interested to put a little more thought to it and see how I already am connecting to these different energy types and what I could be harnessing more of. So it's really interesting food for thought. I can't wait to kind of sit with it and dig in, and whatever kind of shift activations you're going to give us today, I'm sure are going to blow my mind. So I can't wait.
Awesome. So now let's go into social energy. So social
Mm,
energy, the motivation and ability to interact with others,
I've got
build
none.
relationships, engage in social activities. It impacts communication and social bonding. So some of the examples of what this looks like is enjoying lively conversations and social gatherings, feeling motivated to reach out to family and friends, or being energized by teamwork or collaborative projects. So
Mm.
how do you feel about emotional energy, girl? I'm a social energy girl. I keep saying emotional, but
So I definitely, the last part, I do super actually get energized by collaborative things because I can be a really great project manager, but I also know I can't do everything. It's not realistic. And I love other people's perspectives and approaches because it's like making a recipe, right? Like
mm,
everybody brings a different ingredient and see what kind of fun dish you can make out of it. And that's what I love the most about teamwork and collaborative stuff. But all the other social stuff, like you mentioned, reaching
like
out to like families and friends and trying to get together. Oh my God, it makes me want to throw up just thinking about it because there's just so many dynamics that you have to take into consideration that affects physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, social. It takes from all the categories of your, bank account. And wow, that one instantly makes me feel like a tsunami just hit me. So I have to like really look into
yes.
that one. I mean, for goodness sakes, I told you I've been trying to manifest the type of community in my world that I want, but I'm not willing to go out into the world and I don't want to socialize with anybody because I've got my guard up. that the universe is like, okay, we'll just bring him to your house.
Right. It's going to happen one way or another. So, and it's like I said, just another example in terms of our approaches, right? So, social energy for me feels very natural. Like, I just feel
Mm,
like it's that birth order stuff, right? It's like the youngest and just being, just loving that kind of fun social energy piece of it. I do see the the energy deposits and the energy drains, like foreclosure, like shut it down.
mm,
And because I expose myself to more opportunities for social engagement, I can get more depleted because of
mm-hmm,
that,
mm-hmm.
because not everyone has the right intentions, not everyone is going to feed me. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something in this activity that, looking at all these different categories, that I need to be more discerning with, to give it a little more thought,
Mm-hmm.
to just to be able to protect that energy investment that I'm making in that social piece. So
Absolutely.
I just like, I'm envisioning like making some sort of chart or something with all of these energetic
Mm-hmm.
profiles, because I think, like, once again, one thing that I've learned is how much one thing really does affect the other. Because
Mm.
sometimes with social gatherings, I need a day in bed because I just am exhausted, and it's like my physical energy is spent because of all the things that we did together.
Well, I learned that from you actually, which helped me immensely. Was okay, because you're the planner and you're looking at the calendar the night before so that you know what to expect the next morning, so there's no surprises or rushes or shocks of any kind. But you look at it and then you also say, I need to schedule some
Yes.
downtime for a nap, or I need to schedule a day of nothing. And I'm like, oh, people do that? Like, you can put that on this, you can put nothing on the schedule. And then I
Yes.
realized you really do have to actually put it on the calendar with a big old nothing on it, because something will get there if you don't. And when I started doing that, I cannot explain the relief that my family got, because I used to schedule all of the things because I love the idea of being social. I just don't really want to be social. And the relief my family got looking at our family calendar and seeing a nothing day, they were like,
Yes.
thank God. Oh, thank God. So
Hmm.
it's a
I
smart thing
know.
to do.
It's I also learned that with like Michael's children, right? So when they come and visit, his daughter would often say, like, I remember this once, she said, can we just have a nothing day? Can I? And
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to show them all the places and do all the things, and we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go out, and I had all these activities and fun things. And when she asked that, I was like, I would love that too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do nothing tomorrow. So she was the one that kind of started me on that path, and I'm just so much more productive. I'm so much kinder when I have
See
my
how much wisdom kids can actually share if given the space to have a voice?
yes,
Right? The what matters, the boundaries, not barriers, the nothing days, like all of these things. Like, I feel like I just wish so many more parents don't let your kids run your home or anything,
yeah,
but like just be open to these little nuggets of wisdom that they could share and inspire in your life.
absolutely. I'm telling you, there's just, it really is a it's a blessing when you see that, because once
Hmm.
again, you're seeing in the eyes of someone who is just, they just want to be, they just want to, live.
They know
That's
how to
all.
like express themselves unfiltered.
Exactly. Wonderful. And the last category that I have is creative energy.
Mm.
So the capacity for innovation, imagination, artistic expression, it fuels inspiration and nurtures new ideas and projects. So some ideas is feeling inspired to write, paint, or create music, coming up with innovative ideas for project or artwork, or exploring new hobbies or experimenting with different artistic techniques. I keep saying that. And I have to stop saying this, but there's something in my soul that says that I do not give enough time to creative energy, to this part of my being.
Which means your
And
soul is asking for more, is what I think you're trying to rephrase it as. My soul is asking for more of that
my
creative
that
energy.
that is a good rewrite, because am I often just say like, I really wish I could sit and just do this. And for me, creativity is in like my wardrobe, it's in like art projects that I do, it's in creative thinking, and I love it. It fuels me. It's one of the things that I just feel like it's just a part of my soul. And I wonder,
But what's getting in your way of giving yourself more creative energy?
I think it's my overthinking, right? I
Mm,
say I'm going to sit here with all of my supplies and do things. No, but I could really like clean the bathroom right now. Or I could, and I feel like I need to, like, that rest time, I need to
mm-hmm,
invest in the creative time,
mm,
because it's one of those things that I don't, because, and this is more like, I think this is like a trauma response or something, but because it's not productive or
mm,
something, I'm like pushing it to the side. So rest is not productive. What am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm being lazy. No, it
mm-hmm.
really is filling my cup
And
back
I
up.
do resonate with that. And it took me a really long time. Adam still has a hard time with it. But in certain stages of our lives, I think, right, we had to watch our parents grind just to make ends meet because most of them lived paycheck to literal paycheck. There was no financial savings or, investing and things like that for a lot of families. And so if they let their guard down and took a rest, then they got behind or they were a little short on their paycheck that week or whatnot. And so we subconsciously saw that you have to be on all the time or you're not going to have what you need.
And that's why I say trauma response, right? Because there's
Mm-hmm.
this like innate feel of, this is not worth my time when I could be
Mm-hmm.
doing things that support the household, the family, all those other things. So that is, I'm really like loving this episode, because it's helping me get more specific with my energy, as opposed to I'm just tired, or
Yeah.
I'm just,
Well,
yeah.
and you said, too, like you would feel like it's not worth my time, right? Because it's not adding value. But now, if you look at all these different energy categories, they're different streams of revenue, right? In a sense. And how is this creative energy investing into your bank account? So I think if you can kind of dissect them and see what type of emotional income you get from each of them, or not emotional, but energy income that you get from each of them, I think you might start to see, what, this is very valuable to me because this pays me back tenfold. So I'm going to make sure to get some of this into my weekend, or this is really what I love to do on Mondays because it helps me to feel very solid. So for that, I'm going to do my vibration plate on Mondays because it just really makes me feel like I've shaken out anything from last week and I'm ready to move into the next week. So, as you kind of like navigate these different categories, I think you might be able to put your own value on them.
Absolutely. And I think that is the hope and goal that I have, of
Mm-hmm.
that energy balance. And then it's like, balancing your checkbook. But now I don't want to just balance my checkbook. I want to get out, the dollar store. I want
Mm-hmm.
to have, a huge bank account with lots of numbers and lots of zeros at the end of it, to really just fuel my life's work. I want to be able to, my goal in my life is to fulfill whatever contract I had to be here and to do all the things that I needed to do in this lifetime, and, until my
So
next,
funny
right?
that you say that. I just came across this book today and signed up for this lady's 3-day thing for August 12th, 13th, and 14th. I'll send it to you. But she had written a book that I was getting look into, and it was said something like the title was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher it. It's like your dream is your soul's. Gosh, I wish I could. I have to look it up, but
Sure.
it might be relevant to exactly what you're saying, right? To find like what that soul's purpose mission is, right? Instead of having that work mindset, right? My life's work, what is my soul's calling? And
Yeah.
that may be to some people just to be nurturing and loving to everybody around them. That
Right.
might be just the person that always holds great listening space for someone. That might be somebody that opens up a platform for real authentic stories of struggle and transformation for other people to find the steps and the support in their transformation. So, oh, I got chills on that one. So that's a good one. I'm going to find that book I just came across today that I was going to look into, and I'll send it to you.
I love it. Yes, yes. I love all of this. Now, in order to take inventory, right, and see how much emotional currency we have and also our expenditures, I want us to take a moment and take stock, right? Take stock of where are we in each of these different categories. Now that we've shared these are the six categories of energy, where are we in each of those categories, and are we overspending, are we underspending, and I'm going to review a few of those questions that you should ask yourself in each of those energy categories.
Perfect. I'm going to add all this at the end, by the way, to our tracker because I think that all this stuff is amazing.
Awesome, awesome. So number one, for physical energy, do I feel energized and physically capable most days? How do I recover after physical activity or exertion? And am I getting enough rest and nutrition to support my physical energy? Diet, rest, all of that, right? So
I'm like,
what do you
I'm a 5 out of 10 on all three of those.
I
Really.
hear you. Yes, and if you ask me this week, I'm just like I'm at like a 2 out of 10 in all of this. So definitely
Hmm.
it's something, that we need to continue to track. So emotional energy. Do I feel emotionally balanced and resilient during challenging situations? How often do I feel motivated and positive about my day? Do
Mm.
I do I recognize my emotional energy is low, and what steps do I take to recharge? So yeah, so that's this is an interesting
Geez,
one.
now I'm seeing why I'm broke. Golly.
That's the girl. This is we're gonna turn the
We're going to
tide.
audit the shit out of this and we're going to become energy millionaires.
That's it. We're gonna make this work. So the next one is mental energy. Can I focus on tasks without feeling distracted or overwhelmed? Woo, boy, that's a big one for me. Do I feel mentally alert and clear throughout the day? And am I taking breaks to maintain my mental clarity and productivity? Those 15-minute breaks that you talked about, those smoke
Hmm.
breaks, right?
Yeah.
Having those breaks to like recharge and get yourself back in. Spiritual energy. Do I feel connected to my purpose or values regularly? Do I find peace and fulfillment through my spiritual practices or beliefs? And how do I experience moments of inner calm or inspiration? So that's a
That's
spirit.
where I am very strong in, it seems.
Yes. Yeah, and it's interesting because the other thing is if I were to do like a cross section of the six energy fields, I would say, okay, this one I'm really strong at, but this one I didn't even realize I wasn't even on the map.
Hmm.
So it's just interesting to see how you
Yes.
take your energy and you put all of that currency into your savings account as opposed to, putting into a CD or something else, right? So
Yeah.
really interesting. Social energy. Here we go, Jen. Do I enjoy spending time with others or do social interactions drain me? Am I maintaining healthy relationships that boost my social energy? Do I make time for social activities that bring me joy? So you have to identify what those things are, right? What are those things?
Yeah. I guess I do one thing for that.
You do.
Sorry. I'm like, I do. And it was something that I always felt like, because, relationships to the people that feel me is important, right? Like me and you, we
Hmm.
don't live in the same
Yes.
state and we make time for each other all the time. But I wanted more, even more quality time with my family. Yes, we live together. Yes, we all work from home. We virtual school. We do everything. We're all always in the same space, essentially, but it's not doing the same activity, right? So
Right.
I looked around the house and I was like, it doesn't have to cost me a dime. I have all of these crafts and activities and creativity around the house as it is, and we're all interested in a variety of things. And we cook from scratch from home all the time, anyways. And I thought, you know what? I am intentionally going to plan because I still like to plan and I like all this stuff. I just don't like it with other people. And anybody outside my house, I don't like it. No. So I started planning one day or night or whatever the activity was a week that was dedicated to just the four of us in the house. And if we were doing a gardening thing together, or if we're doing a craft together, like making candles, right? Then I always would make it like a theme for cooking too. So it was really fun. But it would be like, what did I name that one? Wax and waffles. And so we made all kinds of waffles. Some of them would be savory or sweet or whatever. And then we're using this wax, right, to make our own candles and things like that. And I couldn't love it more. Like
Yeah.
it fills me, and it's just the four of us, and I don't have to pay any extra money to go out and do these activities because it's stuff I have at home already. So
Yeah.
that's been my social fuel.
I love that. Now I want to do a wax and waffles with my family too. I love that. Thank you for
Just
bringing
be
that.
careful with Michael. He might take it out of context. You never know. He'll be like thinking you're going to do a bikini wax in
Oh,
Speedos or something for him.
we never know with Michael and what he thinks, right? And then finally, so creative energy. Some of the questions that you can ask yourself to take inventory is, do I feel inspired and motivated to create or innovate? Am I regularly engaging in activities that foster my creativity? And how do I feel after expressing myself artistically or trying new ideas? So, those are some of the questions that you can ask yourself in each of these categories to determine where my energy is going. If your portfolio is diversified enough in all of those different energy categories, and also it gives you a new perspective of, well, I know that when I'm feeling sick or energetically or physically down, it's going to impact my emotional mood. So how can I mitigate that? What can I do to bulk up my emotional energy savings so that when I am feeling sick, I'm not going in the red, I'm just pulling from that savings account. So those are some of the ways that I'd like all of our listeners to just take a moment and take inventory of those areas.
This is
All right.
interesting though, because I do see like through going through this, I'm like, wow, okay, so spiritual and creative energies are my top two that I am running with all the time because I've found that alignment.
Yes.
But with looking at this and then seeing where I'm super depleted, I also noticed that in my social bank account, I was spending the way I thought you had to spend socially. I didn't
Yes.
realize that I could spend socially the way that actually fuels me and makes me feel good. Hence the once a week intentional, dedicated, themed family night. And so I kept trying to do what everybody else would do. You know, you go out and you have a party or you drink or you just always get together with other adults or friends or whatever. And it never filled me the same way.
Mm,
And when I realized I can be social, but in a completely different way, that does fill my energy bank. So it's interesting because now it makes me want to look at the other three that
yes.
I'm really depleted in and go, how can I adjust it to match me? So
Yeah.
I can't wait to work on this.
Absolutely. And think about like high risk stocks, right? So if
Mm.
you put all of your, money into that and then you lose it or, so I am in the kind of conservative space and also in the space of what are some ways that can intentionally build wealth and these high risk, investments. That's some of the things that you were just mentioning for me in my social
Hmm.
calendar. Everything would be booked and marked off, and I would say yes to everything. And that was just a lot of risk because I was pulling from other accounts. I was pulling from my physical account, I was pulling from my emotional account, and I wasn't fully looking at the other areas that needed, the investment. So
Hmm.
now I'm not taking those risks, and now I'm purposely saying yes or no to things and really looking at each decision that I make to put an extra unit into my account, that it is going to be well invested. And there are dividends that come with that too, right? What do you get back from that? All right. So the last point of creating that energetic wealth that I'd like to make is protecting the asset. So the asset is you. You are the biggest asset. So what you want to do is check in with yourself. So one way to do it is daily nervous system checks or resets. So you could do that through breathing, tapping, humming, anything that just helps to ground you so that you are ready to look at your energy reserves and where they need to go. And then do some regular check-ins. So ask yourself from each of the categories, how am I? How am I investing my energy currency? How am I investing and spending in each of the categories that we previously mentioned? So that is our kind of a 4-step plan to help you build your energetic wealth. And in order to continue the work, I have a few shift activations to invite you to kind of look at. So this will help you take more inventory and also help support you as you are organizing your energetic portfolio. So number 1, make a joy list. So write 10 very uber specific, right? Specific things that bring you joy and make you feel alive. So post this where you will see it daily. So let's say it's on your refrigerator or it's on your home screen on your phone. And when you need a specific boost of energy, when you are feeling like I'm not necessarily investing in my emotional energy or my spiritual energy, you can use some of these lists or some of the areas of the list that you have to create an energy deposit. Because there are times where we just overdo it and we just need to make sure that we're filling back into our cup. Number 2 is make the stop doing list. So this is cutting energetic withdrawals. So you should, in the next week, list 3 things that result in negative transactions. So to give you a few examples, scrolling right before bed. You know how they say that doom scrolling will just keep you up for the rest of the night. Number 2, overindulgence. So if you're overindulging in sugar or in alcohol or in things that are not supporting your physical energy, take a look at that and see where you can make those edits. And there may be some emotional energy drains, like saying yes when you should say no. So take inventory of some of the things that you do on a week's basis, and then choose one of those energetic withdrawals and focus on stopping on one of those things. We can't do them all, but if you put your energy in stopping one of those things, you can start reclaiming some of that energy back and reinvesting it into a space that you know you would really benefit from. So joy list and then the stop doing list. And then next is protecting your asset by scheduling a rest and recovery day. Yes, we all need it. And I think we don't do enough of this. So on this day, make sure, I understand that we may not have the luxury of having a full day, but at least giving yourself 2 hours, an hour just for yourself in this rest and recovery mode. So for some people, it might be taking a bath. It might be getting a massage. It might be going offline at 7 p.m. and just reading a book or doing something that doesn't require that energy suck from you. Some people, it might just be doing nothing. Something about doing nothing for 30 minutes sounds really hard for folks, but sometimes when you do that, you give yourself the ability to just lower your cortisol and just your energy is replenished in that time. So energy rich people rest before they are exhausted. So please remember that. And then finally, taking social inventory. So as I said in this podcast, I feel very comfortable kind of with the social energy piece, but there are times that I feel like that I am needing to be more protective of my energy around social gatherings. So this is an opportunity to make a chart to see if the people or social situations that you are engaged in are either giving or depositing or withdrawing from your account. So take a list of those things, maybe in the last month, list out some of the energetic social events that took place and say to yourself, how did this feed me and how did this take from me? And I think this will help give you the guidance to say to yourself, okay, now I need to eliminate some of these areas or eliminate some of these people. And with that, you're going to feel more energized because it's not going to suck from other energy sources. Because as we said, with social situations, it may take from your emotional reserve, it may take from your physical reserve. So you just want to make sure that you're protecting all of that at all costs. So I'm really excited to see some of your shift activations. I'm going to work on all of these because obviously there's just so much that I've learned in this deep dive into the energetic categories that we've just shared. And I hope that if you're called to do so, that you share it with us. So feel free to share it on social media or send us an email via our website. We'd love to hear about some of the shifts that you've made within your energetic account. So that's really exciting for us. So just to end off with a shift reflection. So energy is more valuable than money. We hope this episode helps you to identify how energy comes in many forms and how we can diversify our investments to each of those categories. Misalignment of energy can wear you out and even make you sick if you're not careful on how it's allocated. So take this time to reflect and take inventory so that you can be on the road to an energetically wealthy account. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. So whether this episode shifted a new perspective in you or brought something old, remember to download the episode toolkit and follow our guided prompts and grounding practices. So now go sip something yummy, take a deep breath, and know that you are your best asset. And that's it for today's shift. Thank you so much for sharing this space with us. If you're loving the conversation, become a shifty. Like, follow, subscribe, and most of all, share this episode with someone who's shifting too, or someone who seriously needs to get their shift together.
Do you have thoughts, questions, topic requests, or maybe you're feeling the nudge to collaborate? Visit us at shiftsisterpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're so grateful for your presence, your friendship, and your willingness to do the work with us. Because shift happens and we're not meant to do it alone.
We'll meet you back here next time to breathe, reflect, and talk shift.